Women's sexual experiences, emotions, and psychology are intricately linked, making their desires and responses far more complex and fascinating than often understood. Understanding these layers is essential to building deep emotional and physical intimacy. One of the most misunderstood aspects of female sexuality is the orgasm. Women's orgasms are physiologically different from men's in many ways. For one, they tend to last longer, often between 13 to 51 seconds, compared to men's average of 3 to 10 seconds. However, achieving an orgasm is not always straightforward for women. Many factors, emotional, physical, and psychological, contribute to their ability to reach climax. Unlike men, for whom penetration is usually enough for arousal and climax, most women require a blend of clitoral and vaginal stimulation to achieve orgasm. In fact, studies suggest that only about 25% of women can reach orgasm from penetration alone. This highlights the importance of foreplay and understanding a partner's unique needs. Foreplay plays a crucial role in arousal for women. Gentle touch, passionate kissing, and whispered words of affection can ignite a woman's senses and make her feel desired. Physical stimulation is only part of the equation. Emotional foreplay, like building anticipation through romantic gestures or heartfelt conversations, can also deepen intimacy. For many women, the mind is just as important as the body in experiencing pleasure. Psychologically, women are highly attuned to their surroundings and their partner's emotions during intimacy. A partner's attentiveness, enthusiasm, and communication can significantly enhance the experience. Women often feel most aroused when they sense their partner is genuinely focused on their pleasure. This sense of mutual satisfaction creates a cycle of trust and openness, enriching the relationship as a whole. Penetration is another area of misunderstanding when it comes to women's sexual experiences. While it is an integral part of intimacy for many, it is not the sole focus or requirement for pleasure. The G-spot, located on the front wall of the vagina, is often considered a key erogenous zone. However, its sensitivity and significance vary widely among women. For some, deep penetration combined with clitoral stimulation provides immense pleasure, while for others the angle, rhythm, and emotional context of the act matter far more. Touch is a universal language of love, and for women it can be transformative. While certain areas of the body, like the neck, inner thighs, and lower back, are commonly sensitive, every woman has her own preferences. Exploring these preferences through gentle, consistent touch not only enhances physical pleasure, but also strengthens the emotional bond between partners. Non-sexual touch, like holding hands, hugging, or stroking hair, is equally important. These gestures make a woman feel valued and loved beyond the confines of the bedroom. Another fascinating aspect of women's psychology is their ability to multi-layer their desires. Women often find sexual experiences more rewarding when they are emotionally fulfilling. For this reason, a woman might feel most aroused after a meaningful conversation, a romantic date, or an act of kindness from her partner. This interplay between emotional satisfaction and physical desire underscores the importance of treating intimacy as more than a purely physical act. Another fascinating aspect of women's psychology is their ability to multi-layer their desires. Women often find sexual experiences more rewarding when they are emotionally fulfilling. For this reason, a woman might feel most aroused after a meaningful conversation, a romantic date, or an act of kindness from her partner. This interplay between emotional satisfaction and physical desire underscores the importance of treating intimacy as more than a purely physical act. Women's intuition during intimacy is another area that stands out. They are often highly perceptive, noticing subtle cues in their partner's body language, tone of voice, or mood. This ability allows them to respond to their partner's needs in a way that fosters mutual satisfaction. However, this intuition also means that a woman can sense when a partner is disconnected or insincere, which can diminish her desire for intimacy. Authenticity and genuine care are essential to maintaining a fulfilling sexual relationship. Understanding women's psychological responses to touch and pleasure can also help partners become more attentive lovers. For example, the release of dopamine during acts of affection and intimacy creates feelings of happiness and bonding. This is why small acts, like massaging her shoulders, holding her close, or even brushing her hair, can significantly enhance emotional and physical connection. Understanding women's psychological responses to touch and pleasure can also help partners become more attentive lovers. For example, the release of dopamine during acts of affection and intimacy creates feelings of happiness and bonding. This is why small acts, like massaging her shoulders, holding her close, or even brushing her hair, can significantly enhance emotional and physical connection. Understanding women's psychological responses to touch and pleasure can also help partners become more attentive lovers. For example, the release of dopamine during acts of affection and intimacy creates feelings of happiness and bonding. This is why small acts, like massaging her shoulders, holding her close, or even brushing her hair, can significantly enhance emotional and physical connection. One of the most intriguing psychological facts about women is their adaptability in sexual relationships. Women are highly responsive to their partner's behavior and the dynamics of the relationship. For instance, a woman who feels cherished and appreciated is more likely to express her desires openly. On the other hand, neglect or emotional distance can dampen her interest in intimacy. This adaptability highlights the importance of consistent effort, communication, and emotional investment in maintaining a healthy relationship. In summary, women's experiences of intimacy, from their physiological responses to their psychological needs, are deeply complex and interconnected. By approaching relationships with empathy, curiosity, and a genuine desire to connect, partners can create an environment where women feel safe, loved, and fulfilled. True intimacy is not just about physical satisfaction, it's about building a bond that is emotional, spiritual, and deeply personal. Finally, it's crucial to celebrate the individuality of women in all aspects of their lives, including intimacy. Every woman is unique, with her own preferences, desires, and boundaries. Understanding and respecting these differences is key to building a satisfying and meaningful connection. Communication is essential. Asking questions, sharing feelings, and being open to feedback can help partners better understand each other's needs.
Relationships can be beautiful, fulfilling, and transformative, but they can also become toxic, exhausting, or stagnant over time. Recognizing when a relationship is over can be challenging, especially when strong emotions or shared history are involved. However, there are clear signs that indicate it may be time to let go and move on for your well-being and growth. When communication becomes strained, superficial, or non-existent, it's often a red flag. If you and your partner avoid discussing feelings, regularly misinterpret each other, or argue about the same issues without resolution, it indicates a deeper disconnect. When these patterns persist despite efforts to improve, it's a sign the foundation of the relationship may be crumbling. You might feel like you're talking to a wall or walking on eggshells, afraid to share your thoughts because it leads to conflict or indifference. Feeling valued and cared for is essential in any romantic relationship. If your partner no longer makes an effort to support or prioritize you, it can lead to feelings of neglect and resentment. This neglect often manifests as forgetting important dates, dismissing your feelings, or making minimal effort in spending quality time together. Over time, you may feel like a burden instead of an equal partner. If you constantly plan dates, initiate conversations, or make compromises while your partner gives little in return, it might mean they're emotionally checked out. Physical intimacy is a vital way couples express love, trust, and attraction. A consistent decline in affection, whether through sex, hugs, or small gestures like hand holding, can indicate that the relationship has lost its spark. While external factors like stress or medical issues can temporarily impact intimacy, prolonged disinterest or avoidance in physical connection often reflects deeper emotional distance. If you feel like roommates instead of lovers in attempts to reignite intimacy are ignored or rejected, it may signal the end. Healthy relationships allow for constructive criticism that helps both partners grow. However, if the communication becomes dominated by harsh criticism, sarcasm, or disdain, it erodes trust and love. Contempt is especially damaging. It can manifest as name calling, mocking, rolling eyes, or dismissing your partner's opinions and values. Once contempt enters a relationship, it's difficult to repair unless both parties commit to significant change. Conversations that are no longer constructive but filled with insults, blame, or hurtful remarks are a clear indication of a relationship in trouble. It's normal to wonder about different paths in life occasionally, but if you frequently fantasize about being single, dating someone else, or living a life free from your partner, it may be a sign you've emotionally moved on. When your daydreams about life without them feel like a relief rather than a loss, it's a clear indication that you no longer see them as a meaningful part of your future. You might even find yourself secretly planning a life that doesn't involve your partner, such as moving to a new city or starting fresh without their knowledge. Trust is the cornerstone of any successful relationship. When trust is consistently violated, whether through infidelity, lies, or broken promises, it's difficult to rebuild the foundation of the relationship. If you find yourself unable to believe your partner's words, checking their phone, or feeling paranoid about their actions, the relationship has likely reached an unhealthy state. Despite apologies and promises to change, you may be unable to shake the feeling of betrayal or doubt. Over time, people grow and evolve, and sometimes that growth leads partners in different directions. If your life goals, values, or priorities no longer align, it can create a wedge that feels insurmountable. For example, one partner may want children while the other does not, or one may prioritize career growth while the other values a simpler lifestyle. These differences, if irreconcilable, can signal the end of a relationship. You might find yourselves arguing about the same life decisions like where to live, how to spend money, or whether to start a family with no compromise in sight. Love should be the primary reason for staying in a relationship, but when obligation, guilt, or fear of change take its place, it's a sign the relationship has run its course. Staying together for the sake of children, financial dependence, or fear of hurting your partner often leads to resentment and unhappiness in the long run. If you're no longer happy, but you convince yourself to stay because breaking up feels too complicated or painful, it's time to reflect on your true feelings. Emotional intimacy is the glue that holds relationships together. When you no longer feel a connection with your partner, whether through shared experiences, deep conversations, or mutual support, the relationship begins to feel empty. This disconnection often happens gradually, but when you realize you no longer feel understood or cared for, it's a clear indication that love has faded. You might go through the motions of daily life without sharing your inner thoughts, feelings, or dreams with your partner. Relationships require effort, compromise, and commitment from both people. When one or both partners stop trying, whether by ignoring issues, refusing to communicate, or avoiding quality time, the relationship begins to deteriorate. This lack of effort often signals that one or both parties have emotionally checked out and are no longer invested in making the relationship work. Date nights, surprises, or acts of appreciation that once came naturally now feel forced or non existent. Recognizing these signs can be painful, but they are an essential step toward making informed decisions about your relationship. If several of these signs resonate with your experience, it may be time to reflect on your feelings, communicate openly with your partner, or seek professional counseling to determine whether the relationship is salvageable. If you conclude that your relationship is over, consider these tips for ending it with compassion and respect. Be honest and clearly express your feelings and reasons for ending the relationship without blame or hostility. Choose the right time and place to have the conversation privately, in person, and when you're both calm. Set boundaries for how you'll navigate post-breakup communication. especially if you share responsibilities or mutual friends. Seek support from trusted friends, family, or a therapist to help you process the breakup and move forward. Finally, prioritize self-care and allow yourself time to grieve, reflect, and heal before jumping into another relationship.
Masturbation is one of the most natural and universally practiced human behaviors. For many, it serves as a way to explore their own bodies, relieve stress, or simply pass time. Among older men, masturbation can take on an additional role, acting as a coping mechanism for loneliness, boredom, or declining physical intimacy. But like any habit, when done in excess, it begins to take a toll on both the body and mind. What may start as a harmless activity can spiral into compulsive behavior with serious consequences. It's important to explore not just the physiological effects, but also the psychological and emotional impacts of excessive masturbation, especially for older men navigating the challenges of aging. When we engage in pleasurable activities, the brain releases dopamine, a neurotransmitter that creates feelings of satisfaction and happiness. Masturbation triggers this release in significant amounts, providing a temporary escape from stress or negative emotions. However, the brain's reward system is not limitless. Repeated overstimulation of the brain's dopamine pathways through excessive masturbation can lead to desensitization. Over time, the same act provides less satisfaction, pushing individuals to seek greater intensity or frequency to achieve the same level of pleasure. This cycle mirrors the behavior seen in substance addiction, where the brain's natural balance is disrupted, leading to compulsive behavior. For older men, this desensitization can make it harder to find joy in everyday activities. Hobbies, socializing, or even real-life intimacy may no longer feel as rewarding. This is because the brain has essentially been trained to associate pleasure with one activity, making other sources of happiness seem dull by comparison. Moreover, frequent overstimulation can cause psychological dependence. The brain begins to use masturbation as a way to regulate emotions, turning it into a coping mechanism for sadness, anxiety, or boredom. While it might provide temporary relief, it does little to address the root causes of these feelings, leaving individuals stuck in a loop. The effects of excessive masturbation are not confined to the brain. Over time, the body begins to bear the brunt of repeated overstimulation. One of the most common physical issues is reduced sensitivity. Repeated friction and overstimulation of the genital nerves can dull their responsiveness, making it harder to experience pleasure from touch alone. Another potential consequence is erectile dysfunction, ED. While ED is commonly associated with aging, studies have shown that excessive masturbation can contribute to this condition, especially when it's paired with a reliance on pornography. Pornography overstimulates the brain further, setting unrealistic expectations and distorting perceptions of real-life intimacy. Additionally, excessive ejaculation can lead to hormonal imbalances. Testosterone, the hormone responsible for libido, muscle mass, and overall vitality, can fluctuate with overuse. While masturbation doesn't directly drain testosterone, the constant activation of the body's sexual response can leave men feeling fatigued, unmotivated, and even irritable. Pelvic pain and tension are also concerns. Excessive use of the pelvic muscles during masturbation can lead to chronic discomfort or even injury over time. These physical challenges can further erode confidence, creating a ripple effect on mental health. For older men, life often presents unique emotional challenges. Retirement, reduced social interaction, and the empty nest syndrome can lead to feelings of isolation. Many turn to masturbation as a coping mechanism, a way to fill the void left by dwindling social circles or fading intimacy with a partner. At first, this may seem harmless, but over time, masturbation becomes a substitute for genuine emotional connection. Rather than addressing the root cause of loneliness or sadness, it numbs these emotions temporarily, creating a dependency. This dependency often leads to guilt and shame, especially in cultures or communities where masturbation is stigmatized. For older men raised in more conservative times, there may already be an ingrained sense of discomfort about the act. When it becomes excessive, the feelings of self-loathing intensify. Guilt and shame can snowball, leading to a decline in self-esteem. Over time, These negative emotions manifest as anxiety, depression, or even social withdrawal. The very act that was meant to bring comfort ends up isolating them further. One of the most alarming aspects of excessive masturbation is how it mirrors addiction. Just like substance abuse, excessive masturbation rewires the brain's pathways. Over time, the brain begins to associate pleasure and comfort exclusively with this act. This makes it harder for older men to derive joy from other activities, whether it's spending time with loved ones, pursuing hobbies, or even enjoying physical intimacy with a partner. Psychologists refer to this as compulsive sexual behavior. It's not just about frequency. It's about the inability to stop even when the behavior starts causing harm. For older men, this can create a sense of powerlessness, as they feel trapped in a cycle they can't control. Compounding this issue is the modern accessibility of pornography. With smartphones and high-speed internet, older men can easily access explicit content, fueling the habit further. Studies have shown that pornography addiction alters the brain's reward system even more dramatically than masturbation alone, accelerating desensitization and creating a distorted view of intimacy. The good news is that this cycle can be broken. Awareness is the first step. Understanding the impact of excessive masturbation on the body and mind can motivate older men to seek healthier alternatives. One effective strategy is finding new outlets for stress and loneliness. Exercise, meditation, and creative hobbies can help redirect energy and provide a sense of fulfillment. Physical activity, in particular, boosts endorphins, the body's natural feel-good chemicals, helping to restore balance in the brain. Therapy is another valuable tool. Speaking to a counselor or therapist about the emotional and psychological aspects of excessive masturbation can help men work through feelings of guilt, loneliness, and shame. Therapy can also uncover the deeper reasons behind the behavior, such as unresolved emotional trauma or feelings of inadequacy. Additionally, couples therapy or seeking intimacy in a healthy relationship can help reconnect men with the deeper emotional bonds that might have been lost. Real-life intimacy can serve as a more fulfilling and sustainable way to address sexual needs while nurturing emotional connection. While it's true that aging brings about many physical and emotional challenges, older men need not rely on unhealthy habits like excessive masturbation to cope. A holistic approach to mental and physical well-being, along with the support of loved ones and professionals, can help them navigate the aging process in a healthier, more balanced way. Ultimately, the key to breaking the cycle of excessive masturbation lies in self-awareness, support systems, and a willingness to seek alternative, more fulfilling sources of pleasure and connection. The effects of excessive masturbation on older men are not irreversible, and with effort, they can reclaim a healthier relationship with their bodies and minds. Ultimately, the key to breaking the cycle of excessive masturbation lies in self-awareness. One effective strategy is finding new outlets for stress and loneliness. Exercise, meditation, and creative hobbies can help redirect energy and provide a sense of fulfillment. Physical activity, in particular, boosts endorphins, the body's natural feel-good chemicals, helping to restore balance in the brain. Therapy is another valuable tool. Speaking to a counselor or therapist about the emotional and psychological aspects of excessive masturbation can help men work through feelings of guilt, loneliness, and shame. Therapy can also uncover the deeper reasons behind the behavior, such as unresolved emotional trauma or feelings of inadequacy. Additionally, couples therapy or seeking intimacy in a healthy relationship can help reconnect men with the deeper emotional bonds that might have been lost. Real-life intimacy can serve as a more fulfilling and sustainable way to address sexual needs while nurturing emotional connection. While it's true that aging brings about many physical and emotional challenges, older men need not rely on unhealthy habits like excessive masturbation to cope. A holistic approach to mental and physical well-being, along with the support of loved ones and professionals, can help them navigate the aging process in a healthier, more balanced way. Ultimately, the key to breaking the cycle of excessive masturbation lies in self-awareness, support systems, and a willingness to seek alternative, more fulfilling sources of pleasure and connection. The effects of excessive masturbation on older men are not irreversible, and with effort, they can reclaim a healthier relationship with their bodies and minds.
There are some foods such as raspberry that can increase sexual desire. The clitoris grows throughout a woman's lifetime. Farting during sex happens. Sex is a great addition to your regular workout. The vagina averages 3 to 4 cm in length but can expand by 200% when sexually aroused. The clitoris actually has a pretty similar anatomy to a penis with glands, a foreskin, and a shaft. Great sex doesn't come naturally, it's a learned skill. 1 in 5 people use their smartphones during sex, at least adults between 18 and 34 years old, according to a survey by Harris Interactive. A recent fertility survey in Denmark found that 55% of women are not having as much sex as they would really like. Sensation started in the clitoris can spread across the pelvic area, affecting about 15,000 other nerve endings. 80% of women will experience a condition that causes chronic painful sex. The surge of oxytocin that occurs during orgasm triggers a release of feel-good endorphins that act as powerful pain relievers. Orgasms can lower a woman's risk of heart disease, stroke, breast cancer, and depression. Research has shown that orgasms experienced during sex cause us to release 400 times more prolactin, which tends to make people feel sleepy and satiated than from masturbation. Nearly 10% of all dreams include sex. Despite what men claim, only 15% have a penis longer than 7 inches, and only 3% have a penis more than 8 inches long. After menopause, the clitoris can be 2.5 times larger than when the same woman was a teenager. No wonder some women have stronger orgasms in their midlife and 50s. Being tied up increases a person's ability to reach orgasm. Some women like to be touched gently, while others like a lot more sexualization. Every woman's sexual preference is different. Women reach the peak of pleasure through stimulation rather than penetration. Women are more likely to cheat on their partners when they are ovulating. Your brain is less attentive during intercourse as the triggers of fear and anxiety are switched off during orgasm. Forget what you see in porn. Pounding or fast, hard thrusting doesn't turn most women on and can actually cause pain and injury. When it comes to pleasure, penis girth is more important than length. People in their 20s have sex more than 80 times per year, declining to 60 times per year by age 45 and 20 times per year by age 65. Americans in relationships reported having sex 16 fewer times per year from 2010 to 2014 compared to 2000 to 2000 to 2000 to 2000 to 2004. According to a 2017 study, a big penis won't stretch out or ruin a vagina. Forget lingerie. If you want to increase your chance of having an orgasm, keep your socks on during sex, says research done by the University of Groningen. A headache may actually make you more in the mood. Migraine sufferers reported higher levels of sexual desire. 3% of people have no sexual fantasies at all. Women actually get erections in their genitals, and even though they're smaller than the male counterpart, they are just as important. Nearly 1 in 10 dreams contain some R-rated sexual content, and that's true for both men and women, according to a study published by the American Academy of Sleep Medicine. The truth is that no couple is perfectly matched, and libidos change over time and circumstance. The idea that sex must lead to orgasm can be a very damaging thought for people of all genders and sexualities, as it puts undue pressure on them and can cause anxiety. 1 in 6 women has never had an orgasm, which is about 15% of women. The most effective sex toy is your voice. It's perfectly okay to ask for what you desire. Everyone experiences sexual problems sometimes, and a trained sex therapist can help you identify the underlying issues and work them out. Although the withdrawal or pull-out method is better than totally unprotected sexual intercourse, it's not great at preventing pregnancy. When a woman's vagina literally falls out and hangs between the legs, this condition is called pelvic prolapse. According to Men's Health, foreplay is to sex what stretching is to a workout, easy to skip but essential for great results. Some cultures, like France, see oral sex as a natural part of sexual arousal and foreplay. A 2008 survey revealed that the French had the most sex at 137 times per year, well above the global average of 103. Shaving and waxing pubic hair has been linked to an advanced likelihood of contracting stress. 5 things you didn't know about your penis: 1, use it or lose it. You need to have erections regularly to keep your penis in shape. It has to be essentially exercised, says Tobias Klar, MD, Assistant Professor of Urology at Southern Illinois University School of Medicine. 2, to maintain a healthy tone, the smooth muscle of the penis must be periodically enriched with oxygen by the rush of blood that engorges the penis and makes it erect. If guys are physically able to get erect but never have erections during the day, they might find themselves in very unerotic circumstances for a long time. They needn't worry, the brain has an automatic penis maintenance function built in.